Welcome to Truman's Town Hall with your host, Matt Truman.
Hello. I am Matt Truman. Thank you for downloading this episode. Thank you for sharing with a friend. I hope everyone listening to this podcast had a great Easter. I know I did, and I hope you did as well. I believe our ham is at the point where it needs to become ham salad. You can only eat so much ham, and then you got to make ham salad of it. Ohio House Bill 178, constitutional carry. It was a bill introduced on April 10th, 2019, in the House Federalism Committee. It was brought to you by State Representative Ron Hood and State Representative Tom Brinkman Jr. Representative Hood is from the 78th Ohio House District, and Brinkman is from the 27th Ohio House District. This bill has several co-sponsors, multiple co-sponsors. There are many states around the United States that have constitutional carry. What is constitutional carry? It just simply means that you are not required to get a license to carry a weapon, a firearm. The way this bill was introduced was they want to change the CHL to a CWL, change it from a concealed handgun license to a concealed weapons license. Because at the current time, according to this introduction, it is illegal to carry, say, a knife as a weapon. You can carry it to open boxes, mail, but if you're carrying a knife for self-defense, that is illegal. So they want to change the license requirement for that. The introduction went on to say that there are 16 states that have a version of constitutional carry legislation on the books. This includes 2 of our neighboring states, Kentucky and West Virginia. More and more states are putting constitutional carry on the books. There are more and more states coming on board. I know Missouri is also one state that has or is soon to bring constitutional carry to their state. House Bill 178 also removes Ohio's duty to notify statute that currently requires a citizen to promptly notify a police officer upon contact that they are carrying a firearm. It doesn't remove concealed handgun licenses, or if this remains the way it is, a concealed weapons license. You can still go out and get one if you want one, but it doesn't require it. Defending yourself from a potential attacker is an inherent right we all have. Self-defense. It's a God-given right. So as this bill makes its way through the state government, hopefully with as limited amendments as possible, it makes it through into the governor's hands. And the governor signs it, and you are able to carry a firearm and not be required to hold a license to do so. I would argue that anyone carrying a firearm should train with it as much as possible. Train with your weapons. But not only train with your weapons, but be prepared for anything. Be prepared for a storm. Preparation is key to survival. Though technology is amazing, you still have to be prepared for survival. Technology helps us through that. Technology is developed, and then our life becomes easier, and self-defense is part of our survival. It should be just as part of our life as preparing a meal to eat. That's my feeling on it anyway. There are those out there who will argue this bill. They are afraid of gun owners because of insane animal criminals, but that is the exact reason that gun owners, and there are plenty of stories that we could talk about where gun owners, folks who have carried a concealed weapon, have saved lives. Law-abiding citizens are not out committing crimes. Criminals are out committing crimes. There are criminals who have passed background checks, and I know that's the big talk. We need more restrictions on guns. We need more restrictions on people period. We have to restrict what people say, how people think, what people do. That is the purpose for government. But for a lot of us, the purpose for government is not to restrict people's rights, but to ensure that those rights exist. The Second Amendment was second only to the freedom of speech for a reason in the Bill of Rights. One would have to believe that the founding fathers of this country put the Second Amendment in there because there were governments who held the boot on the throat and tried to take their weapons. It's happened throughout time. That's how things go. In order to control the people, first you take their voice, Amendment 1, then you take their weapons that they can use to defend themselves against you or to gain their independence, Amendment 2. So that's why they're in it. That's my opinion, okay? I know there are going to be opponents out there saying restrict those rights of guns. Restrict the rights of gun owners. Guns are scary. They kill people. Yes, that's true, they do. And sadly and very unfortunately, they kill innocent people. But it's criminals who are doing this. Oftentimes, the mass shootings are done by very sick folks with mental issues committing these crimes. So we'll keep up to date here on this podcast as this bill moves through the House, hopefully to the Senate and in the governor's hands, and hopefully the governor signs this bill. Every gun owner should feel the responsibility to train with their weapons. Talking about firearms, you should train with your firearm. Know exactly how it operates, know exactly how to carry it, and train utilizing different drills. If you need an instructor, go find an instructor and train and train and train. That is your responsibility. That's my opinion. But it's not the government's responsibility to tell you how long and how much and what type of training you need. If you want to defend yourself and you want to carry a firearm, you should know exactly how to do that. But it shouldn't be government's job to tell you how to do that. That's my opinion. I'd like to hear your opinion, so you can start a conversation over on Brick City Town Hall or message us at Truman's Town Hall Podcast or email at truepodcast@gmail.com. We can read the opinion on here or we can just discuss it. Well, the council meeting went off without a hitch. There was a motion to begin the process of establishing a residential improvement district in the Lexington Place subdivision and adjacent areas. Then there was a resolution amending resolution number 96R 1764 and authorizing the city manager to negotiate a new agreement with the Huber Heights School District. Now, it says to negotiate a new agreement. I thought there wasn't an agreement. They said there wasn't an agreement, yet there was a resolution, but it says new agreement. Matt, you're reading into things. No, I'm just pointing out that it says a new agreement. The resolution apparently was the agreement. Resolutions, we heard, are law. Councilman Andy Hill, 4th Ward, Ward 4, said no to this. At-large Representative Glenn Otto said no to this. Those were the only two. This resolution passed 6-2. Councilman Shaw voted yes. Councilman Lyons voted yes. Councilman Webb voted yes. Councilwoman Burge voted yes. Councilman Seth Morgan voted yes. Councilman Mark Campbell voted yes. And the resolution passed, amending resolution number 96R 1764 and defunding or stopping the funding to the school district. Let's talk about a few things real quick. I think it was 2013 and 2015, you had issues 13 and issues 19, or issues 19 and 13. At no time did we hear that the city was providing the school district with $200,000 per year. The only thing we heard during that was we have to cut police, we have to cut fire unless you pass these. At the time, I called that sloganeering. Yet, I still voted for it because for the city, that was their quote unquote leverage against us. So we could vote. A question that you may want to ask your representatives, your mayor, your city manager, is the city of Huber Heights spending more now than they were then? So when these levies come up for a vote or come up to be renewed, will they go out for renewal again? Well, the more you spend, the more you have to collect or go in debt, right? So that's just a question. There's talk that the schools are in a good financial position, yet their levies have not been passed. Is it possible that there is more tax dollars in the budget that is being used that they can go through and start stripping away, peeling away, just like they did with item B in new business, item 11B in new business? So the city manager is going to work with the school administration and try to find a new deal. We don't exactly know what that new deal is going to be. Are they going to continue to fund the schools? Will they turn it on a slow down cycle? So will they begin to defund the schools a little by little? So the first year they pay, this is an example, first year they pay the $200,000, then they do $150,000, then it's $100,000, then it's $50,000, then $25,000, then nothing. And then they just slowly defund the school system. Is that a potential deal? Is it a potential deal to just defund the schools because the schools don't want to be a part of the TIF? As we know, right now, the school board has decided not to be a part of this TIF. They have not said they wouldn't meet with the city council, but they have said they don't want to be a part of the TIF. Now, there will be a meeting between the school board and the city. We don't know when yet, but there will be. So I would look for that in the work sessions to come. I would also look forward to hearing about what type of deal the city manager and the school administration will work out. One could make an argument that the city subsidizing the school district should not happen and that they need to turn off that funding. If you're looking to save tax dollars and you're looking to maybe lower the tax rate in Huber Heights, that will definitely have to be something to look at down the road. What is the city subsidizing? What projects can the cities eliminate? Are there any other areas where the city can trim the budget so that the citizens can see tax breaks? I think that is a huge question to be asked in the city. You have a few Republicans on city council. The mayor's a Republican. Republicans generally look for tax breaks. The last time Mr. Morgan was on city council, that's one of the things that he points out is that he worked on a tax cut for the city of Huber Heights. Will he be looking for a tax cut at this time on city council? I think many would agree, yes, hopefully he does. Hopefully the mayor, who is a Republican, does. Hopefully Mr. Glenn Otto, who's a libertarian, does look for tax breaks for the citizens of Huber Heights. Provide infrastructure, provide public safety at the greatest level possible, yet provide it at a cost that does not kill the wallet of the citizen. I think that is an important issue to talk about in the city of Huber Heights. Discussing the council compensation. Ward 5 Representative Mark Campbell mentioned at the work session that no one has contacted him, neither in person or email, about council compensation. He wanted to say he agreed with Richard Shaw, who also said nobody has contacted him about council compensation. That was on its second reading, so the new salaries will most likely be adjusted. If nobody is against it, then that one goes through. And that's fine. If the people in the city of Huber Heights want to raise taxes, they can vote on that. If they want to give council a raise, they can vote on that. And the way they vote on that is by utilizing their voice. So if you can't actually go to the ballot and vote for something, you can utilize your vote. You can write to them through an email. You can talk to them at these meetings.